All right, back on SportsBIT, Betting Insight today. Follow us on Twitter at Paulie Howard, at Teddy_covers. Time for Big Game Breakdown. As always, live on sportsbookreview.com. One game in the association. T-Wolves on the road to take on the Spurs. San Antonio 11, 202 the total. Once upon a time, we loved handicapping Pop and the Spurs because they were one of the most consistent teams in all of sports. A week ago, the Spurs have been 47-2 straight up as double-digit favorites the last two seasons. Then, Wednesday, laying doubles against Milwaukee at home, they lose. And then they have a game in Mexico City against Phoenix, laying 12.5, and they lose. Defense broke down in both games.
Well, yeah, and that's the key and the surprise for what we saw to San Antonio last week. They shot over 50%. They hit 9 of 20 from three-point land against Phoenix in Mexico City. They lost anyway. They shot just shy of 48% against the Bucks. So it wasn't like, all right, one of those nights where San Antonio shots weren't hitting. They hit their shots. They didn't get stops. And you wonder, there's been so much resting and so much diversity in that lineup. Pop's one guy who's got 1 through 15 ready. But by resting players so often, we got to wonder, is the defensive chemistry of this team maybe a step behind where it should be at this stage? And it's worth noting that in between the loss to the Bucks on Wednesday and the loss to the Suns last Saturday, there was a game against the Lakers at home. Spurs won that game by 40. And now, instead of taking Timberwolves lightly, they've had 2 days off. They're coming off a loss. This is only their 5th game in their last 12 days, and they're off again on Wednesday. So it's an opportunity for San Antonio to bring full focus to their opponent.
Yep, good points there. And Minnesota had shown signs of turning the corner. 3 straight wins and covers at home. Then the first game of the road trip, Sunday in Dallas, they lost 98-87. And I think they were hurt because they moved the game up because they didn't want to go head-to-head with the Cowboy game. Tibbs, quote, "I thought we played a low-energy game. That hurt us on both sides of the ball. If you don't play with energy, you're going to have a problem." So they had their way. They made shots. They spread us out. I thought we had a good walkthrough this morning, but you have to bring energy to the game. End quote. Now the challenge, can his team starting 3 one-and-done players step up against this class on the road?
And that's really such an interesting question, Paulie, because that's one thing we don't talk about a lot. The impact of the one-and-dones on the NBA level. Even though these guys are second, third-year players, sometimes fourth-year players with Minnesota, we're still talking about young guys, Wiggins, Towns, and guys who were one-and-done in college. And we know the level of athleticism. We know the level of talent. I mean, Towns, a world of talent. 86 points, 46 rebounds during that 3-game winning streak. But too many times, A, he's trying to do it on his own. And B, when you're going up against a class of team like San Antonio, you know what? 3 or 4 years of college makes a difference against squads like that.
Hey guys, for the full video, go to sbrpicks.com.
Research before you bet. Be sure to check out SBR Picks for the best game predictions, breakdowns, and much, much more.